Hi everyone, today I just want to talk about the sad downfall of a binge drinker, and it's probably happened to many of us. And when you look back to your kind of teen years and when you started drinking alcohol, it was just so much fun. I just have amazing memories of drinking back in the day. Kind of started in our high school or academy as we called it, where you're maybe 14, 15, 16, you manage to get a couple of beers, and then you end up kind of graduating, I guess, when you're 18 years old and you can go into pubs and it's your rite of passage in life. And I think the fun just continued for me anyway, probably right up until I was about 30. And there was absolutely no hangovers I can really remember when I was very young. And that was the time when on British TV you would get Ibiza Uncovered, there would be Club 1830, programs like this where just it totally glorified drinking alcohol and everything that kind of goes with it. Everyone smoked, everyone drunk, in the offices as well. I worked at an oil company. It was brilliant. It was kind of a bit of a macho thing. Folk are out on Thursday nights, and if you're taking clients out or they're taking you out, it was always a full-blown session. So folk would come into the office bleary-eyed, and on Fridays there would be Friday pints at lunchtime, and you kind of get back to the office at 1:30, 2, kind of still, a bit bleary-eyed after a few pints. And it was a completely different world. And even on the news, and you had so many celebrity magazines where all these supermodels and rock stars would be crawling out of bars, and that's the kind of level and what you really looked up to, and why not? And your peers are at it as well. I was quite lucky that my parents and my family don't really drink, but everyone kind of around you did, and if you didn't drink, you were just I don't know, a bit weird, I guess. I remember when I was younger, 18, 19, I met somebody who didn't drink, and I just remember being stunned and amazed that somebody didn't drink. Like, what do you even do at weddings, and what do you do at funerals, and when you're on holiday? I mean, what do you do for 7 days or 2 weeks? It was kind of bizarre. And I think once you start getting to your 30s, early 30s it was for me, it just stopped being fun, and you just start seeing the changes. The hangovers for me, there was the two types. There was the ones where I literally thought that I needed to go to hospital because I felt so ill, just dehydrated and just feeling awful. And I was just a quintessential British binge drinker. I quit in 2017 to 2022, and then thought I could moderate, started drinking again, and in 2025 of this year, July, I quit again after numerous attempts, and that's me done completely with alcohol. And it just got way too much for me, and you'd have those monumental hangovers. Like, one of my last videos I did was about my 7-day hangover, and it was 7 days I felt ill for. And the other video I made, I think it was the last one, was just about my anxiety hangover, which would be the other one where you wake up and you're not actually that hungover, but the fear, the anxiety, the hangxiety, the beer fear, whatever you want to call it, just hits you like a train. Worrying about everything, panicking about stuff, a million thoughts coming into your brain, you're sweating and worrying, and every minute passes like a year, and it's just not fun. And like, that meant those hangovers are just awful, And like I say, for me, these all happened in my early 30s, and you noticed as well, and it's not like a vanity thing, I'm sure everyone will agree with it, because I'm not vain at all, there's no vanity in me, but it's just, you start looking in the mirror and you just look awful. Like, I remember just bags under my eyes, and red eyes. And back in my heyday, in my prime, I think you could go out all weekend, or go to Ibiza for a week, or Magaluf for 2 weeks, and come home and you'd look all right. I can't really remember it, but I remember especially this time from 2022 to this year, just I looked awful, like dry skin, and hair and beard looked dry, and red eyes, and it would just stay. It would never go. I would just look at photos of myself and think, geez, and the puffy face, of course, And like I say, that's just from going out like a Friday, Saturday, or maybe go out the Saturday and have a few beers on the Sunday. but it would just be like a train had hit you every week. And like before, like I say, you could go out Friday, Saturdays, or when I was at uni, it was like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursdays, when it was like 20p a drink and 30p a drink. And you just still function and do stuff and turn up at uni and just have a laugh about it. And like I say, those physical changes now, it just get worse and worse. And like I say, the mental side of it as well. You know, you just start thinking a lot more. You know, I can't believe I'm doing this, and I'm 40, I'm 42 now, but you know, you're sitting there, oh God, I shouldn't be doing this. I mean, this is embarrassing. You know, never getting anything done around the house and DIY stuff unfinished, and it's just consistently in your head, and you just can't, you know, you just can't stop thinking about it. And it's just, like I say, it's just, I think all those things that were fun in the past just stop being fun. And it's just, I remember for myself, you know, especially like I say, the second time I would kind of got back on it between 2022 and 2025, you know, you just kind of stop doing hobbies, you know, you stop. I love walking, but I could never be bothered doing it, you know, that lethargic brain fog all the time. Can't be arstitis, as I call it, you know, can't be bothered itis, just a play on those words. We just can't be bothered doing anything. And it's just a real horrible place to be in. And, you know, not only walking, but, you know, fitness suffered. You know, you stop doing all the hobbies because you can't be bothered. You know, to a big sports centre next to me, you could do all sorts of stuff that I'd love to do, and you just don't do it. And before you know it, you're in that cycle, the one that you kind of, the reason you quit the first time, or the reason why you want to quit this time, of just, you know, you go out at the weekend, Friday, Saturday, maybe the odd Sunday or whatever, and then you're pretty much treading water, I guess, keeping your head above water. The Monday, Tuesday, maybe, and the Wednesday, wishing days away, which is ridiculous, because there's a great saying that you should never wish your days away, because one day you'll have no more days to wish away, or something like that, paraphrasing a bit probably, but it's so true. And like I say, you know, then those days are wasted. Maybe Thursday, Friday, you're back on it. You start having these pipe dreams again, right? I'm going to stay off it this weekend, I'm going to cook my own food, I'm going to go for a run in the morning. Maybe you do for a few days. But then, of course, Friday comes, close the laptop or whatever you do, leave the factory, leave the office, and then you're on it again. And then before you know it, it's Sunday. You spent all your money, or loads of money. You're probably sitting there saying, why did I do this again? I'm a disgrace. I can't believe I did this. You know, how can I not stop? Blah, blah, blah. And the whole cycle continues again. And it's just a slow downfall on the physical side, and the, you know, emotional side, the mental side, your relationship side. And what was fun back in your heyday is just the complete opposite. And it's just, like I say, a slow downfall, and you end up in that situation. But you know what? It's not too late. Not too late. If I can quit binge drinking, because I've just, like every other quintessential binge drinker, you know, I'm 42, you know, grew up, kind of started drinking in the late 90s and was out all the time in the 2000s. And that's just what we did. And we're not to blame for it. It's just the way it was. And, you know, you can quit. I've got loads of good videos on tips for quitting, and there's other good folk out there like Kevin O'Hara, who does the Habits V2 channel on YouTube, and just go for it. Try a 30-day challenge, try a 90-day challenge, then just move that into a year and just keep going and going, and every day gets better, every week gets better. And if you're thinking about starting to drink again, you've been off it for a while, don't, because you'll just end up in the same situation as we all did. But yeah, anyway, have a lovely day, take care, like and subscribe and all that, and I'll see you in the next one. Cheers, bye.